second. But first, little Laker action last night. Lakers Magic, JaVale McGee all over Terrence Ross.
Hey, Brian Westbrook. See how JaVale McGee gets rewarded for going up for the contest? That is what you're there for, JaVale. Now, this was not a good game by the Lakers. First loss all year to a team below 500. But that was a good play by JaVale. Not going to get posterized by Terrence Ross. I'm going up for the contest.
That's his job. He's supposed to contest. He did his job. He doesn't get a plus for that.
Oh, Aaron Gordon throwing himself an alley-oop. Same game.
Where's JaVale McGee at now?
Well, I mean, he did.
Bad defense here.
Well, I think that's more great offense. That's a hell of a play by Aaron Gordon. That's why the Magic were about to take a 20-point third-quarter lead before the Lakers took a lead late they couldn't hold on to. That was
close, though.
That was a... I mean, this is an all-star play.
Yes, it is.
By Aaron.
Here, more Aaron Gordon driving to the basket, throwing it down on JaVale McGee.
Another opportunity for a shot block. Instead, he pushes him.
Pushes him, and this was late, a critical and one. Just listen, if you either knock him to the ground or get out of the way, don't give him a three-point play here is a big mistake by JaVale.
But you see LeBron's face. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't give him the three-point play. That's the last
ensuing possession, LeBron then goes down and hits a three, but instead of it being for the tie, they're still down one. Bad.
All right, Rutgers, Indiana. Geo Baker splitting the defense, throwing down the one-hand slam.
This is how the producers set me up, Brian. They show one great contest because they know I'm going to get on my high horse about that, and then it's just a bunch of guys getting boomed on all the rest of the
Well, this guy made a smart business decision. He knew he wasn't going to contest. He got out of the way. That was a smart move.
Like a sideways fake, like, let me put, okay, never mind.
That's for the tape. That's so that when you go back and watch the tape tomorrow, you can be able to say, I tried my best.
I tried, coach.
All right, on to Sunday's Packers-Niners NFC Championship matchup. Last time Aaron Rodgers saw San Francisco's front four, he didn't see much of anything else. He was sacked 5 times, lost a fumble, and finished with just over 100 yards passing. But that was nearly 2 months ago. And Aaron Rodgers isn't your average quarterback. Just ask Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan.
Probably not anyone on the planet who throws better than him. I mean, there might be a couple guys that you can compare with him. But, I mean, his arm talent is just unbelievable. His athletic ability is unbelievable. He's always been able to run around, extend plays, make throws from any angle. And he's a very intelligent guy who can get them in the right play. And it's hard to throw stuff at him that he's not prepared for.
All right, let me ask you, Brian, who's got the edge?
Yes, sir.
Hi, everyone. Good morning and welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf. That's Nick Wright. Brian Westbrook is with us this morning. Good morning.
What up, B?
I
feel like you glossed over me a little bit. That's Nick Wright. Brian Westbrook.
I did.
This
Apologies.
My God.
Apologies.
But it is good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
I know you had a busy weekend. You able to catch any football this weekend?
I caught a little bit of football. A couple of the games.
Pretty interesting. Some results from this weekend. Hope we get to talk about
AFC Championship Sunday, just 3 days away. We got 4 teams. We got 2 games. And we got one place to start. The AFC matchup. Nick is slightly excited about. Here we go. The Titans have the simple task this weekend of slowing down the Chiefs, a Chiefs team led by reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes, a Chiefs offense coming off a game where they rattled off 7 consecutive touchdowns. They are fast, they are healthy, and they are focused. Just ask wide receiver Tyreek Hill, who knows just how unstoppable this offense can be.
I feel like nobody in NFL can guard any of us. I mean, and that's no disrespect to nobody. That's just the confidence that I got, I mean, in myself and just the wideouts I got around me, including the tight ends and the running backs. I feel like no DB unit, no secondary unit, no linebacker, or any defense can guard any of us. So man-to-man is just easy for us to beat. And if you just allow us to just run through zones, it's even easier.
I love that he's like, no disrespect to anybody, but let me tell you, what do you think, Nick? Is it a mistake giving the Titans bulletin board material? I know that you don't buy into bulletin board material, but a lot of the athletes that come out here say it's an actual thing, and we'll get to Brian in a second.
Well, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. I'm not a big believer in the bulletin board material as far as were the Titans going to be less focused on stopping the Chiefs offense with a chance to go to the Super Bowl, the biggest game any of these guys or almost any of these guys have ever played in, until they heard Tyreek Hill kind of disrespect them in a very self-congratulatory way. And they're like, well, now we're locked in. So I don't really care about the bulletin board part of it. I do care about the substance of what he said. And I don't think he's right when he says nobody can guard any of us. I would change out the word any for the word all. Nobody can guard all of them. That is the problem the Chiefs pose when you have a quarterback who can make every throw on the field to every quadrant on the field. So you have to defend, every blade of grass, as the cliche goes, and you've got your 5 top pass catchers on the year. Travis Kelce has a game where he had 134 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was last week. Tyreek Hill has a game where he had 157 yards. Sammy Watkins had a game where he had 198 and 3 touchdowns. Demarcus Robinson had a game where he had 172 and 2 touchdowns. Rookie Mecole Hardman had a game where he had nearly 100 yards and a touchdown. That's 5 guys, all of whom, aside from Kelce, have blazing speed, and Kelce might be the very best in the league at his position, that you are left without any correct answer, and it's what he alluded to at the end. The Chiefs' offense has absolutely shredded zone defenses since Mahomes has taken over, to the point to where teams have mostly, even zone teams, have abandoned playing that, particularly in the playoffs. But if you go to a man defense, Brian, tell me if you disagree, it becomes a numbers issue. Yeah. If you are going to do what Houston did, which is double Tyreek Hill, you run out of people as far as you're going to have to go on single coverage on almost everyone else, and then Travis Kelce will eat you alive. And if you try to take Travis Kelce away, then you're going to have to single Tyreek Hill. And if Patrick Mahomes is healthy, and therefore he will be accurate, that's going to be bombs over your head. That is the unsolvable question about the Chiefs' offense, and to me, that's what Tyreek's talking about.
I absolutely agree with what Tyreek Hill says, but I absolutely hate bulletin board material. Now, listen, don't say those types of things, especially heading into the biggest game of your season. And I am a believer that gives another team some incentive to go out there and try to stop you. And I know Andy Reid, I've played with him for 8 years. He is a believer in bulletin board material. He wants to keep everything in-house. But what Tyreek Hill said is absolutely true. It's hard to guard these guys, and it's because of a couple of different things. The first thing is that they can affect you on 3 different levels. And normally, it's Tyreek Hill going deep. You have Travis Kelce working the middle of the field. Then you have Hardman or Watkins or a running back in the flat, the short area. Yep. The great thing about this offense is that they're multiple. Now you can get Travis Kelce going deep, Tyreek Hill working the middle of the field, or a running back working the middle or the short part of the field. And so when you have different personnels, when you have multiple formations and shifts and motions, now you can run almost the same exact plays with different people doing it, and it looks like a totally different thing. That puts pressure on the defense, and now it's just hard for defenses to be able to stop that type of offense. What he said is absolutely correct. The way that he said it in front of the media, that's the wrong place to do it. You don't want to do that before the biggest game of your career.
But doesn't it work a little bit in the Titans' favor in that, for the most part, as successful as they are, the Chiefs' offense is one-dimensional. They didn't rely on the running game. They don't push the running game. They don't focus on the running game. So if you can stop Patrick Mahomes from doing what he does, I mean, whether it's double teaming Tyreek Hill, but you know they're not going to run the ball, doesn't that play in the Titans' favor?
Well, I think it does in a little bit, but the big question is, can you stop Patrick Mahomes? There just hasn't been very many teams that have had the ability to stop Mahomes and then stop Kelce and then stop Watkins and stop Hardman, like you mentioned. And then maybe you have some help from Williams out of the backfield. It's just not very many teams that have enough players to match up to be able to stop those things. In these types of games, it's a matchup thing. And there's not many teams that can say, we have enough speed to match their speed. Now, if we play zone, we don't have the ability and wherewithal to stop Travis Kelce. It's just hard to compete against these guys.
There's only one way to slow down this offense. You have to immediately get a consistent pass rush without sending extra people. You have to be able to consistently get home with 4 rushers, and the Titans don't have the personnel for that. Now, if both favorites win this weekend and we get a Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl, now we're talking about something a little more interesting, because you have the best defensive front in football, to where you never have to send extra people if you don't want to. You can use 7 guys in coverage, and Patrick's got to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But Tennessee had 1 guy with more than 5 sacks this season. 0 guys in double-digit sacks this season. When they played earlier this year, Patrick had 450 yards in his first game back from the kneecap injury. And so I don't think it is, I understand it sounds simple as stop Patrick Mahomes, but it's similar to what I would use, cross-sport analogy, in the early 2000s. How did you stop the Lakers? Stop Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, good luck. They won 3. Everyone knew what they were doing. Everyone knew what it was. More recent, more contemporarily, how are you going to stop the Warriors? Take away the three-pointer. Okay, but if our guys are just better than your guys, even if you know what we're doing, even if you know we are not going to show any commitment to the run game, especially because they do have a mobile quarterback in Patrick, and that if you are just totally selling out against the pass, he'll do what he did against the Texans, which is on a few key plays say, there is no one in front of me for 25 yards, I'll just scamper up the sideline. That's the problem because of how they built this team with so much speed and the perfect quarterback to take advantage of it.
They built this team in a great way because if you say we want to stop Tyreek Hill, you can double team him.
Yep.
Then Travis Kelce beat you up.
And the Texans took Tyreek Hill away.
They absolutely did take him away. And then the other part is you possibly could figure out a way